So, hello everyone. Um, this video will be uh, for the visualization of hypothesis testing. So, what we're gonna do in the presentation, uh, first of all, we're gonna make the visualization number one, which is test for a mean. Then the visualization number two, which is comparing two groups. Then we got the visualization number three, which is like the efficiency comparison. And in visualization number four, it's going to be talking about correlation test. I mean, it's an example of a correlation test. And then the important takeaways, which are going to be which is going to be a summary of the important aspects of visualization hypothesis testing. So after that, um, it will be time for questions, and we'll be expecting questions from you guys in the discussion session, in the discussion area. So the first visualization is like a test for a mean, which shows the variation between probability of defect and the number of defective widgets. So out of 100, and so it's like the data has been collected from Acme widget company. So our null hypothesis in this question, I mean in this problem, is the widgets from the Acme widget company are not defect free on average. So, and the alternative hypothesis is the widgets from the Acme widget company are defect free on average. So we're going to run the test and decide if we're going to reject or accept the hypothesis, the null hypothesis. So the second visualization is actually comparing two groups of data. So the one in red is showing the data from corresponding to the minor league teams, and the blue one is corresponding to the data representing the major league teams. So our null hypothesis in this case is like, are the number of home run hitters in a major league, in a major league team, equal to the number of home run hitters in the corresponding minor league teams. So the alternative hypothesis in this case is going to be the number of home run hitters in the major league team is not equal to the number of home run hitters in the corresponding minor league teams. So that's the comparison we're trying to display in the second visualization, and we can actually see that the number of runs is actually higher in the major league teams than in the minor league teams. So the third visualization is like the efficiency comparison. So it's comparison like, so this graph, the graph is displaying the number of hours observed against the number of served, the number of uh, the number served per hour. So our research question in this case is the efficiency curves of the red and blue teams were recorded. Do the teams have equal mean efficiencies? So we decide our null hypothesis as the red and blue teams have equal mean efficiencies. And the alternative hypothesis shows that it states that the red and blue teams do not have equal mean efficiencies. So the fourth and last visualization is a correlation test, which was carried out by a German study, and they actually forgot to put the hypothesis or decide what's the null and or alternative hypothesis, and we have to decide that. So it's showing the data is like a plot of the weight of the vans, of different vans, um, compared to the number of miles or the amount of miles per gallon. So we decide the null hypothesis to be: there's no correlation between the van weight and the number of miles per gallon, and the alternative hypothesis states that there is a correlation between the van weight and the number of miles per gallon. So we either reject or accept the null hypothesis after the computation, the calculation's been done. So there are important things we need to take away or to conclude. So based on the hypothesis test, it is necessary to decide what are the null and alternative hypotheses, because that's actually the introduction and that's actually the theme of any research or any hypothesis test we carry out. So the null hypothesis is either to be rejected or to be accepted, and based on that we can make a conclusion of the research. So it's very, very important, and it's actually inevitable in any hypothesis test. So under visualization, I mean, the importance of visualization, one of it is through visualization it's possible to identify the trend in the data provided. So we can actually see it in a picture which actually shows the trending in the data, or a picture, like the audience can actually see what's happening, because sometimes just in a theoretical way is difficult to picture, but using visualization is actually possible to see how things are moving in the research, how the behavior of the different graphs or charts being used. And based on that, like by visualization, it's possible to either accept or reject a null hypothesis.